Hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another addition to my journey through Naruto. Today we're going to be talking about the Search for Tsunade arc. Probably to this day, among my least favorite Naruto arcs. I don't think it's, magnificent, but I do think it's good, it's very good, it's solid. I give it like an 8 out of 10. Solid is probably underselling it. 8 out of 10 is a very good score, and this is one of my least favorite Naruto arcs. There was a lot of great stuff here, a lot of awesome stuff. I think that it starts off very strong and ends extremely strong, and sort of the middle bit is where it gets a little kind of ponderous, a little bit thin in points, but it wasn't bad or anything, it just was one of the weaker stretches of Naruto so far. Now, there are a couple of things in particular that I really want to delve into for this. There's quite a bit of Naruto and Jiraiya interactions. I don't have a ton to say about that, and they were good. They were nice establishment for their relationship, which the series will delve much deeper into down the line. But specifically, the arc starts out with Itachi and Kisame sort of invading the Konohagakure, the Hidden Leaf Village, to check in on Naruto. Now, with the knowledge I have now, I know that that was a bit of a front for a couple of reasons, but nonetheless, that is the reasoning they have here. Itachi and Kisame essentially invade. They go right to the front door of the Hidden Leaf Village, and oh man, the stuff for Itachi right here. I mean, in the moment that I was experiencing this stuff, he just carried this aura with him. He just had this antagonist shonen aura that just felt so palpable and powerful, and his dynamic with Sasuke was so interesting and complex and rich immediately that I just felt that this could be an all-time character for me, just based off of a lot of the stuff we get here, his presence, his aura, without even knowing the deeper facets of his writing. Essentially, we get a lot of stuff for Itachi and Sasuke's relationship and how toxic and fragmented it is. Itachi doesn't give much away in a lot of the things that he says. Kisame is fine. I don't have much to say about Kisame, especially at this point in the story, so I'll just leave that there. But when Sasuke learns, Sasuke ultimately comes into contact with Itachi, and when Sasuke learns that Itachi is here primarily for Naruto and not for him, at least so he says, that is something that really sticks to his gut. It's something he can't really handle. It's something that he looks at as an addition, another huge layer to add to his complex relationship with Naruto. Naruto is someone he deeply cares for. They're two people who I feel like, in a lot of ways, are soulmates. In a lot of ways, complete one another. They're both lonely souls in differing ways who found kinship in one another and a relationship that was irreplaceable. And we've seen that in the story so far, but there's also been some negatives to it, because Sasuke is deeply damaged as a person understandably because of the stuff that Itachi did all the way back when. He's wanted to kill Itachi, that's been his mission, and he's wanted to prove himself to be strong enough to be acknowledged by him, while also proving himself to be strong enough to kill him. Those are two things that add to a complex that means that, as much as he values Naruto, he doesn't want to be seen as weaker than him. He doesn't want to be seen as inferior, not just to him, but to anyone, but especially Naruto. Because Naruto is someone who has, his progress has been a little all over the place. He's been kind of slow to start, but clearly had an aptitude for it. And then ultimately exponentially shot up in terms of his strength and power and potential, and now Sasuke's kind of looking over his shoulder at the potential of Naruto, feeling a bit of a... not that Naruto is superior to him, but feeling an inferiority complex regardless, because he doesn't like the feeling of Naruto on his coattails. He needs to be better than everyone. He needs to be superior to everyone, because this is a complex formed all the way back when Itachi wouldn't acknowledge him, it seemed, by his perception. And that stuck with him till now. And it's integrated with the idea that he wants to take him out. And to do that, he has to be strong. And someone strong enough to take Itachi out shouldn't be looking over his shoulder all the time. But in addition to this, the idea that Itachi brings forth that he is looking for Naruto, that is something that's deeply damaging. That is something that makes him look at Naruto with even more envy, that inferiority complex, that faux inferiority complex, more darkness, and adds more complexity to it. It's something he can't really stomach. Now, throughout all of this, in addition to this, Itachi forces Sasuke to relive the night that he discovered his clan slaughtered by Itachi for 24 hours straight using his power. This is something that I found to be, it's strange, but I feel like this is something that people could actually underappreciate or understate or not understand the true extent of, because imagine that. The event that caused Sasuke to make his life a crusade of revenge. That's how big it was for him. Itachi doing that, literally killing his parents, killing his village, destroying his home. That, just that sentence alone should pretty much get across how deeply formative this was for Sasuke. And that it was his brother, with all the bits of his relationship he had prior and how that evolved. This is something that is deeply formative for Sasuke, like I said. And as a result, seeing it once has formed his entire life and given him deeply seated issues and psychological drawbacks. Imagine seeing it for a day straight. I don't imagine that the discovery of the slaughter and seeing Itachi, it can't have taken much more than an hour, 2. So he repeated that at least a dozen times again. This event that traumatized him for life, fragmented him for life, he had to witness a dozen more times at the very least. That is gigantic. Sasuke is absolutely out of commission, understandably, after this, but I think that it also plays a role in understanding why he acts the way he does going forward in future arcs. So I just found that really interesting. I found that very noteworthy. Now, after these confrontations, a combination of Jiraiya, Kakashi, the Jonin of the village as well, a combination of all of them accumulating after everything, causes Itachi and Kisame to go off. But they are skulking in the back of the story, and they are quite a force, quite a hook. After this, I was enraptured with Itachi as a character, and, spoiler alert, my engagement in his character, my investment, was paid off and then some. But we got several videos to go before we talk about that. You can check out the streams, though, if you want. Now, this arc, as it's named, is also essentially the story and introduction to Tsunade. Tsunade, who is one of the better characters in the series, up to this point, absolutely, and even up to where I'm at in the story right now, which is 250 chapters after this. So she is a fantastic character, and this arc, I think its primary triumph is how it so beautifully establishes her and her different relationships. Her relationships with Jiraiya and Orochimaru, and her relationship with Naruto in particular, and how it integrates with her backstory, and the idea of her taking the spot as the 5th Hokage. In particular, I think the trio, there's a name for them, but I don't remember it right now, the Orochimaru, Jiraiya, Tsunade trio, and the establishment of that is something that's very sort of subtextual and underlying and not super prominent, but ends up sort of informing the characters individually, which is, they each have pretty significant impacts on the narrative individually, but I think that their backstory and their dynamic is really good at establishing who they are and how they interact and why they view the world the way they do in a lot of ways. So this is kind of the introduction of that, and I really enjoyed it here. But as for Tsunade herself, I think she is this beautiful, beautiful character. I think that the establishment of how hurt she is, her backstory with having grown close to Dan and her brother, Nawaki, I believe his name is, and how they both reach these terrible, terrifying ends as a result of their dreams, partly, in large part, and as a result, how she came to resent that title. It's a complex relationship she has with the title, or people who have that sort of dream, because she associates it with the two most important people in her life, probably, and so as a result has this sort of beautiful optimism to it. She looks at it with sort of rose-tinted glasses in an idealistic sort of way because it represents the dreams of those she cared about, but at the same time, those dreams snuff them out, and so she cannot think of that title as anything worth going for. Every bit of positivity she has that she thinks about it with, or she thinks about her loved ones with, it is overcome with negativity and pain and darkness and agony and torment. And so Orochimaru offers her a way out, which is to offer the resurrection of those she cared most about. And it's this beautiful emotional internal tug of war, and ultimately she decides, no, the past is the past, and I need to strive forward and live in the way that they could be proud of and let go. And that is one of the most admirable things that a character in this story does throughout. And throughout this whole arc, she is able to see the beauty in Naruto. She's able to see her and Naruto butt heads throughout consistently, and it's tons of fun. It's really funny. It's very endearing for both of them, but they butt heads. But his beauty, the beauty of the person he is and what he stands for and how he is different. He is just different to the vast majority of people you're going to meet, and he just has this ability, he's this storm. He has this inherent ability to get people over to his side because of how empathetic, compassionate, determined, persevering he is. Despite being imperfect, despite being lonely and down on his luck, he strives past everything to try to achieve his dream, to try to enact these promises. And so the beautiful thing is that she's able to let go in this amazing presentation throughout the entire arc, specifically at the end. I think you know the page I'm thinking of. This beautiful, serene, gentle, almost angelic looking full page spread of her just, it seems like fading away as she sort of leads into making her decision and understands the way forward while letting go, but not forgetting. It's a beautiful culmination to her arc and great payoff for her establishment, and the callback, the parallel with her kissing Dan, Naoki, and at the end, Naruto on the cheek, sort of believing in him and thanking him and helping her, valuing his ability to help her believe again and look to the future again, which is in large part the reason that inspires her to take up the position. It's all beautiful stuff. So yeah, I was a big fan of this arc. I have one of the spreads. I have one of the full page spreads on my phone right here. This one right here. This one feeling never decays. The other one I was talking about was right here. Sorry, you can't see it great, but yeah, this one feeling never decays. And I think there's a big difference between, like I alluded to, letting go and moving on and forgetting. She will never forget. It's formed who she is. But there is something to be said about not letting those scars hold you back from pursuing things and moving forward. And that is what Tsunade is able to do, while never letting the feeling decay. It is this beautiful culmination, it's this beautiful introduction for a great character in Tsunade. It helps emphasize why Naruto is such a great protagonist, such a great embodiment of all that's wonderful about the quote-unquote classic shonen protagonist. Some might call that sort of the traits he has sort of generic. Listen, all I gotta say is a lot of my favorite types of characters are in that mold. Look to my left right now, you'll see Hinata Shoujo. Gon Freaks, one of my favorite characters of all time. Luffy, One Piece. Naruto now. There's something to be said about what these characters stand for, and as long as I think they can distinguish themselves within their narrative, even Yuji Itadori, who is actually quite different from all the ones I mentioned, but maybe that's a topic for another video or a stream or something. Anyways, there's something to be said for those core traits, perseverance, empathy, compassion, understanding, perspective, but that never say die attitude and that optimism. Yeah, those are commonalities between a lot of those sorts of characters, but as long as they distinguish themselves within their series and do it in a way that gives them their own identity, they are common character traits that I think are so... There's reasons why these series are so popular, why these characters are so popular, because if done well, within the context of the story, it is extremely good, and that's Naruto. He consistently is able to understand people and represent this sort of guiding light. He's consistently able to show himself to be wise beyond his years through the simplicity of how he views the world and the perseverance he has and his ability to consistently just keep striving forwards. And it inspires Tsunade here, and she would not be the last one. Anyways, those are some of my takeaways on the Search for Tsunade arc. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Join me next time for a bit of a review of one of the series-defining arcs, the Sasuke retrieval arc. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one, guys.